Good morning, everyone. This is an emergency meeting of the City Council of the City of Port St. Lucie. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Pickett?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Bonner?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Caraballo?
Here, ma'am.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would public to be heard? Would anyone like to address the council on non-agenda related items? Seeing no one, will close public to be heard. Item 5, resolution. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, to declare a state of emergency in the City of Port St. Lucie, authorizing the declaration of a curfew, authorizing the exercise of emergency powers, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Blackburn?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council, and thank you for coming in early. The council, I believe, is aware, and it's all over the media, and we're seeing the signs outside right now that we have tropical storm Nicole is headed in our direction. Over the last few days, the actual path of the tropical storm has come in. It's looked like the center was coming in as far as south as West Palm Beach. Yesterday afternoon, it was headed more toward Palm Bay. Today, it's more toward Port St. Lucie. We're expected today, later in the afternoon, as we just start picking up tropical storm force winds, and those will increase till early in the morning. Should be sustained tropical storm force winds as high as a Category 1, maybe higher. And so we as a city, have been preparing ever since we saw that we were in the cone of influence. We have closed our operations for regular operations today and tomorrow. Yesterday afternoon, I signed an emergency declaration which allows us to suspend union contracts, be able to acquire certain goods and services if needed on an emergency basis. So our charter requires that you affirm that declaration within 24 hours. The resolution before you today will actually allow you to make that final call as on the declaration of emergency. So we have activated our Emergency Operations Center on a virtual basis. As I think you're aware, we now have the police department, Building B and Building A that are totally hardened and have emergency generators to last as long as needed. And so we have each of the section head, the command staff, the section heads are operating out of their home buildings and working virtually. We've had probably 10 virtual meetings in the last couple of days with our full team. So there's a lot of pluses to that, and it allows folks to have access to other resources they may not have in the EOC. And we did that, first it's practice is to make sure it works. And second, because as we started out, fairly consistently, this was a tropical storm, although a strong tropical storm. And, because of that track changing, it looks like more and more that we'll have, more sustained winds. One of the last reports we got is that the length of the sustained winds will not be as long as some of the earlier reports. We're now seeing up to 8 hours of sustained winds rather than at one point 18 hours. So it's moving faster would be the thing you deduct from that. So we certainly have some key staff here as well. Billy has pulled up the most recent track of Tropical Storm Nicole, and you'll see it's out in the Atlantic and coming in our direction generally. It's been on all of the weather projections, it's been on an arc, so it kind of angles in, whether it has come in at West Palm or come in at Port St. Lucie or Palm Bay, and it kind of arcs in and then goes back out along the East Coast in Georgia. So coming in at, somewhere between the high tropical storm around 69 miles an hour winds to 74 is the hurricane category 1, and then it would die down quickly on coast. But it does stay fairly well together, so that it ends up going up the coast. So again, we're asking you today, we certainly can give you information on any of the preparation that we're doing, but asking you to adopt the resolution that affirms the declaration of emergency.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
The motion is for approval of Resolution 22-R125. Councilman Pickett?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Bonner?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Caraballo?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we just ask that everyone stay safe. Please pay attention to, continue to pay attention to the weather. Any updates that the city has that we'll be putting out periodically to keep everyone abreast of what the city is doing. And so, are there any other questions of council? Or Mr. Blackburn before we adjourn?
Just a quick comment. I did watch a little bit of the county update yesterday in regards to FP&L, and I did receive some information from FP&L. They are positioned and ready to go. I think power is going to be one of the things that people are the most concerned with. There's voluntary shelters. So those shelters, it was stated by the county that if you need a shelter, they're asking people that need special needs. So obviously if you need oxygen or have asthma, they recommend that you try to attend a voluntary shelter. And the other item with in regards to power is when Chief Spira spoke, he said to keep in mind that FP&L comes in with less winds than the fire department goes out with. So a lot of times people call because they see arcing or something happening with the power in itself, or seeing a spark. The fire department asked, not to use 911 resources. FP&L will come out unless there's an immediate threat. Like if you see something catching on fire or a line that's going to, spark near a house or something, that's when you want to call 911. So also stay obviously up to date to the EOC updates from the county as well for that information.
So the county's putting out stuff periodically as well and has those updates.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, thank you. And one other thing I want to mention is, as you know, one of our vital services is solid waste. So today, FCC is running. They will run, and they're picking up garbage only, so that we're trying to stay ahead of garbage. Tomorrow, because of the anticipated winds, the FCC will not operate. So today is garbage. We certainly have been encouraging residents, don't put out piles of vegetative debris, don't put out bulk waste, but we are going to get your garbage and no recycling, right? And your schedule and we will already have this, I believe, on our website, but the schedule will just roll forward. So if your day is Thursday, then tomorrow you will not receive service, but that Thursday will get service on Friday, and Friday will get service on Saturday.
Right.
So the landfill has agreed, and we appreciate the county. They will be open on Saturday for this Saturday and next Saturday, knowing these are kind of unusual events for our community. So
Thanks for that update, Russ. Appreciate it. Okay, we are adjourned.